see who clicks on.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Sorry we were in closed session there for a while, but we're back now. And the next thing is Deerland County Fair parade attendance. So who's all going to be able to make it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Councillor Bullock will let you know as soon as he knows. Do you guys need a hand with the float? Okay. Okay, so we're running a little late after our discussion, so we're going to forego the roundtable discussion. We're going to move right to director highlights, and we're going to start with Director Lefebvre, Infrastructure Planning and Development.
Thank you, Worship. Quick update on our Forest Main lift station upgrade project. I have a meeting tomorrow with New Edge for the subcontractor that's doing the work inside the lift station for the retrofit of all the valves and controls, to see what they have already secured for materials and parts and the scope of the work, just to nail it down before we get more closer to doing that. The valves, the 450 mil valves that we require, we're still waiting for the bypass pumping. So as you know, the Forest Main line is in the ground except for the last little bit into the lagoons. And they're hoping that we'll have those, unfortunately, after the August long weekend, so by the August 8th or 9th, we'll have that in. So that's a real thing still today, is waiting for parts and waiting for materials, and that's what we're waiting for. And like I said, I have a meeting there with them tomorrow to do the lift station. Excalibur is back this week for 51st. They're getting some of the things done today out there and probably gone Thursday, Friday, and then early next week they'll be back on the Monday with the directional boring machine, and then they can do the tie-in to Alta-Wide Timber Mart, the water connection, and then bring the sewer up to property line. And then when that's done, then we can backfill and get some compaction and then start working on the drainage issues that we've had there for a while, and repairing of the culvert and getting some drainage and slopage to happen. The heat is beautiful. It's screaming hot outside, but it's still wet this far underneath when we're digging up. So the forecast for the future looks really good for what we need to do, and I'm happy to see that we're going to get this wrapped up soon. And I'm okay with Excalibur, bucking out Thursday, Friday, and coming back Monday. That's a few more days for underneath to tighten up and dry a little bit. The on-site for Prosperity Industrial Park servicing for natural gas, ATCO Gas, with the new main line install. That's the new supply line. A potential developer has stated that the amount of natural gas they need would equal what the park current design would supply for one day, a 1,200 gigajoule supply per day. So we've had to go back and start doing some redesign. I've talked with ATCO Gas. Their field guys are saying what is being asked for is a lot of gas, like a lot, more than normal parks in the area. So not in the area, but say Vermilion and areas like us. And so they're working on that. Now the problem of going from a 200 mil, which is a 4-inch, up to a 150 mil gas line, which is a 6-inch, is now your crossing agreements change. CN, for example, will allow you to go, let's call it relatively bare bones, directional bore, pull a line through at 4-inch. Once you exceed 4-inch, now they want casings, conduit, and it increases a little bit of what's happening. So the other players are telling us that they're still moving forward with the alignment. We're getting approvals for that, and ATCO Gas is busy redesigning for a 6-inch, just the approvals that we still have to submit, which haven't been submitted as the last time I talked to them. So I don't see it holding us up right now, but as long as the approvals go well. We remember that the cost of the install for the natural gas line is that of ATCO Gas because of how our franchise fees is built. So an increase in supply line, if we think about very long term, this is probably a good thing, because that large size line has the capability to service much more than Prosperity years down the road. And it is intrusive to install, as we're coming from the station by the Goodnight Water Reservoir just on the west side of the pool. and coming all the way through and past Vantage and underneath the river, underneath CN, underneath the highway. A lot of approvals, a lot of things going on. So maybe we go a little bigger now, and then for people 60 years from us will be thanking us for today. The on-site shallows servicing, all the parties have been a part, and that's your ATCO Electric, ATCO Gas, TELUS, for all your shallow providers. ATCO Electric also doing the street lighting, ATCO Electric also being the manager of the entire project as we go common trench technology, which means any trench that goes in, everybody jumps in the same one to save money and make things more coordinated. We are just, everybody, we had a meeting last week, everybody reviewed the designs that were sent out. We don't have a lot of changes to be made, so that went back in. Now ATCO will finalize the design. When the design is finalized and TELUS and these guys get their numbers in, then we will be able to approve that, start the construction, and also start the survey, which is kind of important to us. Because once we have where the easements are going to be and where the services are going to run, then when we do the survey, we survey that into the survey of the property. And then everybody gets an address, and then if somebody wants to purchase, this is this property, legal description, here's this one, here's this one. So we're kind of, that is taking another step forward. And I know we all can appreciate this kind of stuff takes time to get done. There's a process. And I'm just glad things are certainly moving along, and I think we're going to be all right. The utilities bylaw draft has been completed by infrastructure department and has been sent out to senior management team. And hopefully the next couple of weeks we can have a review of that and bring it back so council realizes that it's not sitting on the corner of someone's desk. It's sitting on the front of the desk with a bunch of other things. And we're picking away at it as we go, but it is moving. And if there's any questions, I think I'll stop it there. It's progress. We are moving forward for sure.
So on the gas line, it is beneficial down the road, even as potential industry that's looking and their needs are met through this bigger line. But even if it doesn't happen, just to have that, the accessibility to that supply of gas will be good. So. Okay, I had no questions. Thank you very much, Director Lefebvre.
You're welcome.
Okay, Director Saskew.
Thank you, Worship. So as you all know, this is my first official week back from maternity leave, formally. The past 2 days, I have been working on procedures with my department as we've had our new accounts payable clerk start on Monday. There is a good amount of catch-up that needs to be done, as we have had vacancies in our department over the last year, like several vacancies, as well as my position not at full-time hours over the past 9 months. So that is a work in progress, summer project, and many other things to catch up on. So I'm just looking forward to being able to wrap some things up and get things back in progress. As we all know, the tax collection due date was June 28th, and subsequent penalty has been applied, which is 15% on current taxes payable outstanding. So this penalty totaled $71,332 this year, which is comparable to prior years. Slightly higher, but not within $10,000 of our normal penalty. Other items of importance include researching what study will be required to satisfy the asset retirement obligation requirements for our 2024 audit. So I was at the GFOA conference in early June, and I did get some referrals for contractors that will complete this study for us at like a good cost. So I did get some referrals. I actually talked to some of the accounting firms. I'm like, who did you guys use? So I have a couple people that I'm going to be making contact with, and like I said, I don't know numbers as to what this study will cost us, but as far as every accountant that I've spoken to that does audits says that this study is required for us to be on side with the ARO requirements. So we have to do the study, and then we also have to do the accounting entries related to it. I'm confident that I can do most of the accounting entries related to it, and then also there will be likely additional charges for our audit, 'cause then our auditors would have to audit the additional entries that were done. So the way that this works is because it's probably gonna be significant, we'll have to restate prior year financials on our next year financials, so we'd have to restate 2023 column to be in line, like, it's all the accounting requirements that make us do this. So there will be additional audit work that's required as well as the studies. So dollar values to come once I reach out to these individuals and get a firm grasp on what is actually required of us.
And this was brought forward by accountants.
The accounting, yeah,
It wasn't the municipal government. Sorry, it wasn't the municipal affairs that requested this.
I don't know for certain because,
Well, I talked to the minister about it.
The
when I was there.
CPA
He said
hand-
no.
so why did the CPAs just decide to do this? That doesn't make
Well,
any
I
sense
think
to me.
it sounds like honey.
Like I said, it does require additional audit things, so.
Okay. On that vein, though, I'm not sure that I'm prepared to go forward with it. I think a letter needs to go to municipal affairs asking if this is in fact a requirement of our budget.
It will be though, if we continue to get,
But who is saying it? Because right now it sounds like the accountants are saying it's needed, and it's something they've come up with that they need, which is certainly going to benefit in the long run because they'll have to get paid more to look at it. But I'd like the government to say, because they're actually the ones that require us to have an audit. They're actually the ones that require us to balance a budget in a certain way. And I'm not saying that anybody is making anything up, but I think I would like municipal affairs to provide a letter that says that we do in fact have to have this as a budgeted item.
Well, the conversations I've had with the commissions and other municipalities, some are moving forward. Some are finding out that the price that they received this year is actually 3 times as much as what it's gonna be next year. Like grossly overrated the price that they were quoted.
well, the ones that did the rush studies, I think they
Yeah.
banked on that.
So I know that CIO Ling phoned municipal affairs and they said you wouldn't be the only ones that had the report. So again, Megan, Director Saskew, look into it and come back to us.
Absolutely.
And then,
Council will be the one that steers the ship here.
Yes.
So if we want to go, like, I will guarantee you that if we don't do this ARO study, we will have another qualified opinion.
yeah,
Which qualified opinion, contrary to what it sounds like, is actually not a good opinion. You want an unqualified opinion. So,
go ahead, Councilor Cruz.
Thank you. How often do these studies, as we do the first one, how often do we do these studies again?
I imagine it'll be similar to like our landfill adoption. So we had the initial study done by our MPE, and then we updated the useful life of the landfill, and it's like an amortization because the time value of money, $1 today is not $1 tomorrow. So basically they did the study saying it'll cost us this much to close our landfill in 50 years. And so in today's dollars, that's this, and then each year we just add an additional cost for the time value of money, so it's not significant. So unless there's something that gives rise to like us buying a compactor where the landfill will last a lot longer, or if we do that landfill redesign where people are putting things in bins and less stuff is going up into our different areas, then there is no need to do another study. So like that's where the sufficient audit evidence, where the auditors would say, nope, that seems reasonable, you go forward. So
Yeah, well, the dumb thing is if the town disappeared, what would it cost for us to take away all of our infrastructure? I mean, this is what basically they're asking.
But again, who is asking
And,
this?
and everybody's confused, like, are we supposed to start a reserve to take every piece of infrastructure out of town? Because when I asked the Minister McIver, he's like, no. But some municipalities are thinking that we need to start a reserve. So when the town disappears, we can take the pipes and the streets and stuff away.
Because you can't, well, because otherwise we can't really claim that as a liability if we have no requirement to address it.
yeah.
So, sorry, my question, Megan, was when we did it for the landfill, for example, which makes sense, we obviously had to do it, but who mandated we do it? I mean,
That was the same ARO retirement. So we did that because of this new, like, this is not new. Like, this has been talked about, like, since 2018,
and
2019.
which ministry deals with this requirement?
And I don't know. Like, this was like through the accounting handbook that we did this.
Paul such a level of, you know what, on this? We need to find out.
Yeah, and
Before we
again,
put even minutes.
what's, if it's just on paper, like an amortization is all it really is. I mean, because some municipalities are actually thinking that they gotta put this money every year to create a reserve to take all their assets out of the ground.
And that's what originally Paul had set up, is a reserve for this, like actually funded the money, versus us, what the ARO requirement is it's just setting up the liability, and every year you just expense that additional cost to the liability. So there's no actual reserve that's required, it's the liability and you add to it every year. So like the cost for our landfill right now is, let's say, $50,000 a year, but $50,000 goes into our operating budget to fund this liability annually to close the landfill. But that's an actual legitimate cost. We know in 50 years we will have these environmental requirements. So that's why we didn't really argue with it, because that actually makes sense. Like, that's prudent budgeting. We're using the time value of money. We're putting money away for.
But no municipality does that, and if it dissolves, they don't take everything out. And in most cases, they get absorbed sometimes by the counties. I mean, there's various things. But, I mean, I will never vote in favor of pulling tax dollars or charging our taxpayers to put in a reserve for something we cannot do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I will get more information
Yeah,
and I'll
for
report
sure.
back to you, but like I said, that's one of my additional summer projects.
Sounds fun. No fun.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more questions for Director Sasky? Okay, we're moving on to CAO highlights.
Okay, just a few quick highlights since last legislative meeting. I attended the Local Government Administrators Association Conference. We held our second quarterly management meeting. The RFP for the Regional Recreation Feasibility Study has been awarded to Orange Crow leadership, and we had our introductory meeting yesterday. Canada Day festivities were well attended, and thank you to our tourism coordinator, Michelle Gladys, and the rest of the SEED team, Jameson and Lane, for a fantastic event. And thanks to all the departments and the staff who helped out and participated. It was a great day. Our bylaw officer, Gurpreet, has been accepted to the Ontario Provincial Police. So he will be leaving at the end of July. Yeah. And lastly, I was on vacation last week, so it's a little slower from my desk, this report.
Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other business of council? Seeing none, I adjourn this meeting at 6:01.